They say writers become writers because they would prefer to write rather than talk, but I'm changing that today on the show, interviewing some of our Filipino-American writers on Kababayan, LA, Donna and Cecilia. Hello once again. Earlier we talked about, you know, being published and the excitement of that. And Cecilia, not so much with you because you started writing screenplays, or rather, or is it playwrights?
Plays.
Or were you a playwright? So
yeah,
it's just...
I am a playwright, and then I wrote a screenplay.
Oh, you did too?
Yes. And then I adapted the screenplay into a novel, and now I've adapted the novel into a play.
Wow, so it's just like a circle. But Cecilia, what was it like when you wrote plays and you would see it being performed on stage?
Yeah, the nicest part, I guess the most exciting part, is seeing what was in your mind.
Your characters
on the stage,
come alive.
Alive, yes.
Do you get the same feeling sinabi ni Donna kanina? Donna said, you know, when she reads it published, she edits, and she wishes she could have done something more or changed something, whatever. Do you do that too?
Oh, yes. A lot of rewrites.
Okay.
Even in
Do
plays.
the actors ever change things?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, yeah, and then sometimes, you discover things about the character that, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. So the actor would say, I think this person, that's true, you know, and then you discover more about the character.
Yeah, and
through the
speaking of
actors.
characters, let's talk about that. You both wrote fictions. Donna, When the De La Cruz Family Danced, and Cecilia, in her mother's image. Where do you get your characters from? Friends, family? And when they read it, do they know that it's them?
Well, in my case, the idea for the novel came from my father. I mean, from what the little I knew about his life.
Because the story is, let's share the gist first. The story is of the book.
The story is about a man who immigrates from the Philippines, not necessarily of his own accord, so that his sense of leaving is sort of mixed, and so he makes a decision to sort of leave his past behind, even though he makes a decision to sort of leave his past behind, even though inside he's not ready to do that.
Okay.
So it creates a lot of mixed emotions within him, and it affects the relationships he has with his family, outside his family, and his community, and his sense of belonging.
And also something very familiar to us immigrants, Cecilia. You migrated from the Philippines as well. But to continue, you were saying, so you got the inspiration from your dad's story.
Well, I thought about what it would be like for him, you know, coming over here and then starting a life and thinking about what he lost and how he had to reconcile that with what he was gaining with his new life in this country. And so that was the start of it, but the rest of it is fiction, although since it's been read by family and friends, a lot of people have started to think, you know, started to make connections about trying to identify people in the novel.
You're agreeing.
Yes.
And do you get in trouble? Are they like, why did you make me sound like that in your novel? Or do they get in trouble like that?
Well, you know, my nephews and nieces, you know, they ask me, is that character based on, you know,
so-and-so, such and such, yeah.
No, I told you it's fiction. I told you it's fiction.
Right. But would you argue that maybe because you're with these people a lot and you're talking about some of them joint similar experiences, that you're also influenced by your experiences with them?
Yes, but the characters are more composites of different people, I know. So it's not just based on one person.
Right.
So it's more composite.
And your book is also, you know, admittedly, your book draws inspiration from your father's experiences. Yes. Tell us a little bit about it.
My dad, Luis Gaerlan Jr., he survived. He was in the Bataan Death March. So he survived the Bataan Death March, and then he also survived his incarceration at Camp O'Donnell.
Wow. Okay.
So basically, I was inspired by the stories that he told us when we were growing up. But most of his stories actually were funny. You know, how he outwitted the Japanese.
They make light of it, I guess, right?
But, only recently, just in the last few months, did I learn. I mean, it was so horrible. And actually, I've been creating a lot of awareness about the Bataan Death March because it's so unfortunate. When I was doing my readings, I realized and I found out through the audience that not too many people in this country know about the Bataan Death March, the sacrifices that both Filipinos and Americans did.
Yes.
And the circumstances behind the war.
And would you consider yourself lucky because the stories presented themselves to you? We're going to be talking about that also. For budding writers out there, or those who want to write, where do you get stories from? And we'll discuss that when we return on the show. Don't go away.